and blah blah blah, we have this. Where do we find this? Everywhere we can find it. And where can you imply it? You can imply it everywhere. Now this is a very important reason. Please listen to me carefully, as the causes we need to understand what cause an attachment, and can you avoid it at every cost. Okay, so by far what I have explained, can somebody tell me, is there possibility that you can avoid all kind of attachments? Is there a
Only
way that
if you get involved in your studies. That's it.
only if you get involved in studies, then you'll be able to avoid attachments?
Yeah.
Being like a monk or deeply spiritual or something like a
Okay, yes,
Zen,
that's
then we
another way
can.
that you can, like Buddha said, he said that, attachment is the main cause of suffering. But we don't have that choice. Otherwise, we don't actually, we have that choice, and we don't want to go through that choice. So everybody has choice to drop everything right now, whatever you're doing in life, drop everything, quit this and go become a monk. Correct? Everybody has that choice. I have a choice, you have a choice, everybody can do that. But we don't want to do that. We have to live in this worldly world, and then survive and get through it and be happy as well. So that's the ultimate goal that we're looking for. Now, let's say that we are here, we have made a decision, we're going to stick by it, we're going to learn it, and we're going to excel it, we're going to be the best version which is possible. So what do? We learn. And that's why I'm saying attachment here. Okay, so what is attachment? Now when a baby is born, I want you to have this like a movie. Okay, when I'm saying something, I want you to create it as a movie, so that it'll stick by you again. Okay, so when a baby is born, so can you see the duck baby in the picture? Yeah. So when a duck baby, I don't know, what do you call a duck baby? Okay, I'll just call it duck baby. Okay. So duck baby, when it comes out of egg,
It's a duckling.
duckling, right? Okay, I was
Duckling.
thinking, but I didn't want it to be wrong. So it's a duckling. So duckling, when it is born, what happens? The first thing, okay, the first attachment that it gets is the person that they see. So it can be their mother. So that's natural that they will see their mother. They will follow around. She will provide food. She'll guard and she'll give safety. And they will just follow around till they become of a certain age, and then they will have their own natural life cycle. Similarly, it happens with us also. So we are born, we expect our parents to nurture us, give us food, and secure us from everything, and give us connection and love, and affectionate and protect from outer big world, and just make us happy. So for few years of our life, we are dependent on them, just like this duck baby. Okay, duckling. Okay, now what happens? But it is a well-known study, it is a well-known fact that if a duckling, okay, let's just say it gets separated from the whole pack of it, and it hatches out. Okay, so what happens? The first object that it sees, the first thing that it gets attached to, it can be a tire, it can be a plastic, it can be a human. So if I steal that egg, okay, and I keep it and I have it, and the moment I am there, and it sees for like first 5, 10, 15 seconds, or maybe like a minute, so it'll get attached to me, it'll think that I am its mama, and it'll get attached to me, and it'll follow me around everywhere. And you have seen this example in cartoons also. It usually shows that they open that egg, and it's like, are you my mama? Like that. They speak, and that's the attachment that they will have. So similarly for a baby also, let's just say I was born, and what happened, they took me here to a different place, maybe Africa or America, or maybe UK. So I will not know much, I will think that that is the reality for me, and where my reality can be something else. But I will speak like them, I will say their language, I don't know, I will learn their body language, I will learn the kind of rituals and the kind of thinking process that they have, and it'll be my new normal. Similarly, same thing happened for you also, and it happened in our life already. So we are born at a particular place, we are born at a particular country, we are born in a particular culture, and you get attached to it. That's why you have this sense of nationality. That's why you have a sense of religion. That's why you have a sense of family. So it is basically what has happened over a period of time. You have built up that connection with them. You have built up that attachment to them, right? Now we have to learn that not every attachment can be good, correct? Not every childhood will be positive, not every childhood will be, you know, super nurturing, super caring. You will have different kind of childhood that you will experience. Now you have to trust me on this factor, and it is a well known factor that your childhood has a very big role to play in the way that the sort of person that you've become. So the sort of person that I've become right now, so a major part of it lies in my childhood. So every time I have some problem, every time I have some trauma to deal with, every time I have something to deal with, I have to go back to my childhood and look as to why am I behaving in a certain way. If I have low self-esteem, I might want to look back there. If I have very high confidence, if I am very good in sports, so it is possibility that I had some kind of exposure, and you know, I was maybe, you know, told that I'm pretty good in sports, and then I'm performing better because, you know, there was a sense of confidence that was given to me in childhood. But it doesn't always happen. So people like me or people like somebody else, you get exposed to a lot of trauma also, you get exposed to a lot of violence also, you get exposed to a lot of physical, mentally, or verbal abuse as well. And some people have been lucky enough that they get exposed to the idea of you're doing great, oh my god, you're amazing, you can do whatever you want, you will do whatever your mind is put into. But most likely it doesn't happen. Everybody will agree with me, okay? If you have very good parents and if you have very good understanding, especially, then you have very good self-esteem of yourself, because you don't know. When you're a child, when you wear a new dress, you don't judge yourself and you say, I look so fat, I look like this, until I've been taught like that, okay? So I will put on a new dress and I will dance around like I'm the prettiest, because I don't have that notion that, you know, I can look ugly, I can, you know, look in a certain way, until I have been taught. Okay, let's just say the moment my parents tell me, you know, you look like this, why are you so fat, you need to lose weight at a very early age, so that will sit inside me, that will sit inside my brain, and that will be my reality, that is my new reality of what I have thought through. Okay, so when you have to learn attachments, what do you have to do? Whenever you want to change something, you will always have to go back and see what is happening, what is affecting you. You know, some people have this, you will agree that, you know, some people have this very good luck in the kind of attachments that they have. They always have good friends. Why are they support? You know, they always have supportive friends. They had supportive childhood also, and they just seem to go through life in such an easy manner. You will know someone like that. Okay, they just seem to be so happy, they just seem to believe in themselves, they just seem to have everything, you know, all of their shit together. And I always look at them, I'm like, what are you so happy about? You know, didn't you have any kind of trauma in your life that, you know, fucked you up? Nothing. Like, why are you so happy? And then sometimes I look at someone and they just keep degrading themselves, and I look at them and I'm like, okay, who hurt you so bad that you are at certain stage? When I meet a lot of clients and when I see a lot of people who has a lot of anger, resentment, and like a lot of body image issues, it basically has come from childhood that you've never able to change because nobody taught you. Because who taught you that, oh my god, you're doing this to yourself, change it right now? Nobody did. They said this is who you are, you accepted it, you kind of, you know, hided it so well, you played so good, and then now it's creating a problem in your life. And like some people, you will see that they just kept getting into bad relationships. Some people have this habit. No matter what, no matter how many times do you want to start off with, they just seem to always find the baddest of the relationship and get into them. They are just so good with it, their radar goes like that. They just seem to have bad circle of friends, they just seem to have a problem with a lot of friends. They seem to be always disorganized, and their brain doesn't, you know, necessarily register that, and they don't see any problem. They just are not happy, that's all. Okay, so now it is divided into four parts. We will go as to deeper cause, why is it happening. And by now, if you understood and you have had that example, do you agree with me or not that this is a skill that we need to learn? What do you think? Correct? I'm making sense. I'm not talking some mumbo jumbo here. Today, nobody is speaking. Why is that? I want somebody to say yes, no, Hanji, no, Ji, not making sense.
Yeah, that's true.
Such a dull crowd. I
You're
don't want to have
making
such a dull
sense.
crowd. What happened? Day 4 and all of
Sonia,
you
you're
go
making
sleeping, is it?
amazing sense. No, no, you're making amazing. You're doing great, Sonia. We all love you. We're
I
just
don't want my
mesmerized by
praise.
you.
I just want your.
Sonia,
I
all
don't
are
want.
dumbfolded.
Okay. I don't want you to be
We are
so dull. I
dumbfolded.
want you to like speak up and tell me like I know
No,
this
no, we are
person.
not dull. We are dumbfolded by the way you're taking it up. We are taken by surprise.
Okay.
Yep. Actually, these topic all so deep now. So we are in a deep thinking mode.
Okay, so what are the type of attachments? Now, when you want to learn the type of attachments that you're talking, you have to think of it as, make it as vivid in your head as possible, because the more crazy it is, the more absurd it is, and the images that you set inside your head, it will likely to remember, and you are more likely to acknowledge it. Okay, so we have four kind of attachments in your life. Mostly, I mean, this is like a general. I'm no neuroscience and you're like a scientist and psychologist to tell you, but this will be like a general base for you to understand. So every time you meet someone and you get to know them, you will kind of relate to it and you'll be very quick in understanding. And that's a good level to start off with. Okay, as we go further, maybe we can discuss in like details. Okay, I'll give you like a general basis so it's good enough right now. So you have four kind of attachments that you have in life. Okay, one is a secure one is anxious, one is avoidant, and disorganized. So when I spoke about the fact that child is brought up in a certain manner, if you look at the statistics, 60% of them has a very secure childhood. Okay, just understand the terms. I will explain in detail for the next slide. So 60% are very secure, they are very confident, they have good self-esteem, they are kind of doing okay in their life, and whatever they puts their mind into, they'll be fairly able to achieve it. Okay, they don't still have that notion that anything can go bad in their life. Now 20% of them has a anxious, avoidant one. Then there is anxious, and there is disorganized. Now we will discuss as why is that happening, and what can you do about it, and who you are. So now when I discuss each and every one, I would want you to look at yourself and, and analyze as to who you are, and if you can think of somebody else also, now make start having a lot of imagination inside your head. So the first one is a secure one. So I like to call it as a secure baby. When you look at the first image, it is of secure baby. What is up with secure baby? Secure baby has been born and brought up and nurtured and given a lot of love connection and a lot of physical presence, so it feels that he's good, she is good enough, he's doing well, he can do a lot of things in his life, he has a lot of self esteem, a um self peace that he has in himself, that nothing bothers. Okay, so he's easily able to make friends, he's performing better in school, he has good grades, and he's going through life smoothly, and and he has this belief that he should have good partner who supports them. And when this baby will grow up, this baby will somehow be growing up in a manner that they will support their partner, they're not so jealous, they are okay, they have their own space, and they give their own space, and they become the perfect example of like a good husband or a good wife. Okay, now think of someone that you've seen, so they seem to be excelling and they don't have a lot of issues, they seem to go through life and they kind of do well for what they are. Okay, because their parents were there, they supported, they were there for those parents teacher meeting, they didn't abuse so much, they probably shouted once in a while, but they kind of went through with it. And sometimes I have seen people saying that my parents are my best friends, so they are these kind of people. Okay, excuse me. Something is up. Hmm. Now the second one is your anxious baby. Okay, the second one that you see image of. So this baby has been born and brought up that the parents might not be around so much, so this baby has a lot of fear that I'm going to be abandoned soon. They will always have doubts, they are kind of insecure, but in a way that they become shy, they become introverted. Okay, they kind of start doubting that I love my parents, what is up with them, and they don't love me back. I don't think so they love me back. He's always in doubt, so he always causes up drama. Okay, he kind of fake falls and then starts crying and needs a lot of attention. So what happens, this baby is born and brought up in a way that it'll be very shy, doesn't want to talk much, and is very confined in its own personal space, and very introverted sort of baby. And they are the same, they are the type, when they grow up they have this thing that they don't open up so easily, but once they open up they get attached to you very well. Okay, they also seem to be someone that has a lot of insecurity within them, so they always ask you for a lot of time, affection, space, and they are into you so much, and they seem to be a little bit jealous, not like overly jealous, and but they will be possessive somewhere. So mostly this trait can be seen in women's, I would say, because women are not being taught to like share its feelings so openly, so they kind of share it when they are with that person, or maybe like a partner, and mostly it is women's that you can relate with, but don't generalize it, because there are a lot of guys out there who has this attachment style and will not show it. Okay, so that's the second attachment that we're speaking of. Third one is the grumpy baby that you see. Okay, so it's like an avoidant. So the name is avoidant. First one is secure, second one is anxious, the third one is avoidant. So these babies are too cool to be true. Okay, so what has happened in their childhood is their parents were around, but they were only around for a particular period of time, let's just say. So they gave the baby everything. Okay, they gave iPad, iMac, and all those MacBook Pro and iPhone and all those expensive toys, but those parents were not around for support. When the baby fell down, they didn't pick up, maybe that kind of attention they didn't get. Okay, and they were said that you don't have to ask for so much attention, maybe they didn't have time. Okay, they didn't say that we love you, they didn't have that sort of affection that they know what it is like to be. And sometimes when the baby has expressed its feeling, and they were shrugged off, and they were not e- they were not accepted enough. So what happens is the baby has started avoiding now, so it doesn't want to get attached to anyone, because they know that they got hurt when they were little. So when they got hurt, they were little, what happened now, they've started avoiding all of these attachments. They don't want to talk to you, they live on their own, they're not shy, they're not introverted, but they're just grumpy, they don't want to talk to you. Maybe whenever they talk to you, they're very rude also. So you must have seen some baby who does like that. Okay, when I go to my family functions, I see those sort of babies, and I know that something is up, because they've closed off. They don't want to get hurt again, because they've been hurt by somebody who's close to them and is not shown a lot of affection. So that's the baby that we are talking about, avoidant. Now when the avoidant baby grows up, what does it do? So it has a lot of feelings, they have a lot of attachments towards you, maybe they have a lot of love towards you, but they don't know how to show until you like really force them up, or maybe like you show them extreme love, and then they kind of open up, and then their shell cracks open, and then you know that okay, this is what they meant. And you might have some friends like this who are not very expressive, who does not show you a lot of attachment, and they seem to be always cursing around, and they don't like a lot of drama, they like to be within their own circle. So have you experienced somebody like that? Now think of someone, so they are too cool for emotion, they don't want to show attachments, they don't want to show you any kind of attachments, they don't want to show you any kind of emotions also. So they will say that emotions is for weak people, and I don't get attached, I am not emotional, I am not that sort of person, why are you so like this, and why are you doing like this, and I don't know how to comfort you. So these are the sort of people that you will meet who are very avoidant sort of nature. Okay. And the last one, and my favorite one, okay, that's my favorite one. Can you guys all see the picture that I've put?
Sure, sure.
Yeah, the baby drinking and smoking one, like chilling
That's
baby. Okay, that's
scary.
my chill baby, and that's my favorite baby, because I somewhere resonated with that baby, and I know that it's the most affected one. They have some kind of problem. They have gone something traumatic that they are still not able to come out of it. Now what happens, love? This is where we need to talk about. This is where all of our responsibilities come into play. Okay, so this baby has been exposed to any kind of mental, physical, or verbal abuse. Okay, what has happened to them? Parents were rude, they got beaten up a lot. Okay, they were rejected a lot, there was no attachment who was shown, they were just thrown around like, you didn't matter. Can you stop shouting so much? Can you stop crying so much? Are you bothering me? Why are you like this? Why is this kid like this? Oh my god, he's such a headache to me. You are so difficult to handle. Why are you so grumpy? Why are you crying so much? And they've been manhandled too much. And that's the childhood that we're speaking of. That's like a little baby that you're doing that, all these things to someone, and now they have to grow from that place. What do you think will happen to that? They will have low self-esteem. Okay, they will have low self-worth. They don't know what to do. They always feel they are worthless. They feel hopeless because their parents, their family, their school, their teachers didn't believe in them. Do you think they will believe themselves when they grow up? Do you think magically it will come from within them and you think they will just start believing in themselves because nobody believed them? No, it will never happen, like ever happen. Never ever it'll happen until unless they have to realize, they have to start working. And these are the people that are getting a lot of trauma within. And this is what we do, this is our teachers do, this is what our parents do, this is what society is doing to us. And that's what we need to speak about, as in why are we put, why do we have so much expectation? Why do we talk to students like this? Why do we talk to children's like that? Why don't we tell them that, we love you, we take care of you, we support you, you can do whatever you want to? Nobody does that, especially in Indian parents. They don't have time for it because they are still running for bread and butter. And you can't sit with your child for like 30 minutes and ask them, what is up with you? Are okay? Are you happy? Is everything all right with you? Can I help you with something? How are your friends? Do you have any problem? Is the teacher okay with you? Are you able to understand the subjects or not? Nobody does that. You just magically assume that your child will become a topper when you say that he cannot do something. He's just so worse, she's just so worse, she doesn't even, does this, and she's pretty slow. This is what we do to children. So I have talked. So now, when you think about it, okay, we've spoken about 4 qualities here.